Hello and welcome to Geoscope here on Politics Social. It's me and Ollie BowlerHatMan. How you doing, sir? You all right?
I'm all right.
Yeah?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing well. Oh, was that a rapturous applause?
It was. Everyone saying thank you so much for coming on. We've got Pete's music there. We've got Diz. We've got Duke Vengeance in the chat. We've got Sarah Davis. We've also got Alex French, Chris C. We've got someone called BowlerHatMan who just says soon, which is quite sinister, Ollie. Whoever wrote that. Soon. And also, we've got Dave W in there, and I'm Phillips and Sarah Davis and others. If you'd like to join them, just hit the subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button under the video, and you can join in with the chat. You can be one of our socialites, and if you want a little rose after your name, all you need to do is join the channel. Just become a channel member, and you'll get your little rose, and you'll get your name on the credits at the end. Okay, Ollie, so first up, we're going to be talking... I think this whole show is probably going to be talking about Musk and Trump, or Elump, as I like to call them. But we're going to start off on this USAid shutdown. This is mind-blowing. The richest man in the world has just slapped food out of the mouths of starving children.
Yep. Obviously, this isn't good. USAid is probably one of the biggest, biggest contributors, not only to, anti-poverty stuff, food distribution to any area that's currently going through, any area is going through famine or anything like that. There's just so much stuff this actually funds. And it is stuff to, disease prevention as well. Yeah. Helps provide, vaccines, medicines, just the amount of sheer stuff like this actually provides is just, monumental. It provides education support, again, for poor countries. It helps NGOs who might be operating in other countries as well, helps them to operate and do things and help out. The idea of just, Thanos snapping it away which
is what they've done. I mean, it's a death sentence. It's a death sentence. Elon Musk, the world's richest man, has carried out a death sentence on millions of the poorest children in the world. Millions of women who are now going to die in childbirth as a result of not being able to get the drugs that they need to survive childbirth. Don't forget, 100 years ago, you had a kid, horrible to say, but there was a 50-50 chance that either you would die or the baby would die. That's what medicine was like 150 years ago. Obviously, with the advent of modern medicine, that hardly ever happens now. But in developing nations, it is just absolutely sickening that this rich fuck has come and done this. The richest man in the world. The cruelest thing that he could possibly do.
And it is family planning as well. That helps support
masses. Sorry?
That's family planning as well. That USAID helps support as well, because they were having a go. Oh, yeah, we supply Hamas with money for the condoms. Well, yes, because if you are going to, sort of do that, then sort of the things that you have to do. And Hamas,
and it wasn't
again at the time when it was sort of,
he said it was $100 million on condoms for the Hamas. It's just bullshit, absolute bullshit. But critical medicines and food and other vital supplies are now rotting in warehouses in regions like Sudan and the Democratic Republic of Congo, exacerbating already dire humanitarian crises that are going on in those areas, in those regions, in those countries. You talk about health and nutrition, disease control. Children are going to die of easily preventable diseases. Millions of children will die every year from diarrhea because they can't get a hold of electrolyte solution
programs as well.
Literally sugar salt solution, which can save a child's life. And that's going to be stopped now. Approximately 11.7 million women and girls will lose access to contraceptive care during this 90-day freeze that they're putting on, the 40 billion that was supposed to go to help people. And they're predicting over 8,000 preventable deaths in the next 90 days, next 3 months. 8,000 preventable deaths from complications from pregnancy and childbirth. I mean, to say it's sickening. And all those bastards who voted for Trump, they voted for this. They voted for this eyes open. They were like, yeah, I want people on the other side of the world to die. I want children to die. And Ollie, do you think they're going to get into heaven? Do you think the people who voted for Trump are going to get into heaven?
I don't know, but I'm not religious, so yeah, whatever.
I'm not religious either, but I'm pretty sure that if heaven exists, they're not going there. I'm pretty sure that if hell exists, they are going there for what they've done, condemning children to die. And they think it's funny. Like, I posted something on Facebook about this, and there was a Trump supporter who left a laughing emoji about the prospect of children dying. They're fucked in the head, mate. They're absolutely fucked in the head. The people who go for this. There's also the education side of this. Projects like Girls' Education Initiative in Nepal have been forced to shut down, increasing the risk of child marriage.
Yeah, there's just
trafficking.
so many things around the world that rely on this aid. Yeah, it's just gone.
In Bangladesh, prominent research centres and malaria programs have laid off scientists. In Johannesburg, running HIV/AIDS programs have ceased operations. And then you've got economic and agricultural disruption in Malawi. The aid freeze threatens agricultural support programs, critical for smallholder farmers. People are going to starve to death.
Yeah, this also provides things for like wood.
His fat mate, bloody Elon Musk.
This also provides things for like wood for the frontline troops in Ukraine, providing them for this. They can have fires during the winter. This is just the scale of like what this does and what it provides.
Yeah.
And you are quite rightly, I think, seeing a lot of Democrats generally lose their mind over this.
It's disgusting.
There are some who are responding, but there are others responding a lot better. There are some who have gone, this isn't allowed. Elon Musk is stepping over the line.
He should be in jail because he should be on fucking death row for this.
He can't do this. This was set up by Congress. This has been approved by Congress. This is a massive overstep of presidential power. Certainly his power that he has.
Unelected,
so I think there's going to be a lot of very interesting things happen over the next couple of days when it comes to this. But they're also apparently now going after the Department of Education as well. I think in the past couple of hours, I think there's been some executive order. So yeah. Fun stuff happening in America.
An executive order to do what?
Get rid of the Department of Education.
Wow. He said he was going to do that. He said he was going to do that. And the uneducated, unwashed dickheads in Louisiana who vote for Trump no matter what, no matter how much he shits all over them, they're all like, I don't think children should be educated. I should teach my children myself. I know about the world. Yeehaw. Yeah, but like this is a sector-wide crisis. Aid organizations worldwide are under severe strain now, with numerous agencies forced to close or lay off staff, and it's been described by former USAid officials as an extinction-level event for the aid, for aid around the world. This is seismic, and it's the bit that sticks in my craw more than anything else. It was the richest man in the world who did this. The richest motherfucker in the world did this. And he'll get away with it. I guarantee he'll get away with it, and Trump will get away with getting rid of the Department of Education because they don't want educated people because they're more likely to vote Democrat. And they might create problems in the future by being able to
it's all so that you can create a for-profit system. Essentially, that's what it's really about. You don't need state education. What you need is a for-profit system. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. The USAid accounts for 40% of global humanitarian aid spending, and this shutdown destabilizes a vast ecosystem. of relief and development organizations. I mean, there's been more calls for self-reliance with former Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta and others urging affected countries to build on self-sufficiency, exposing the vulnerability of development programs and over-reliance on external aid. But also, you've got this thing of like, who's gonna plug the gap, Ollie? Who's gonna turn up and say, "Hey, we'll help you"? Russia, fucking Russia, and China.
Or China.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. The government response has been just horrific. The US government's attempt to mitigate the impact by they've offered a waiver for life-saving assistance, but that's just led to confusion. Like, no one knows what's happening, and it's further complicated an already chaotic situation. A friend of a friend went to their job yesterday in Kazakhstan working for USAid, and the offices were just closed. They've just closed up, gone.
Yep.
And
it's honestly incredibly reckless just to go and do and through this. I mean, just the entire thing of what Elon Musk is doing at the moment over there with Doge and his quote team of gooners as they are being dubbed. I mean, I don't know about you. I wouldn't trust a 26-year-old just to say, "Hey, you go fix the UK tax system." You know, just go wild. I don't think I would trust a 26-year-old.
Elon Musk is the most evil man on the planet. I thought Trump was the most evil man on the planet, but actually Elon's somehow worse. It's not enough for him to be the richest man in the world. He has to know that he's caused the unnecessary suffering and death of children in Sudan and the Democratic Republic of Congo. He'll probably watch images of children dying and he'll probably get off on it. That's how sick and fucked up he is in the head. He is a sick, twisted individual. And if I see a Tesla, I'm probably going to do something to it that I probably shouldn't admit online, but he can fuck off. His Hitler cars, his swastikas can fuck off. His Starlink can fuck off. His horrible little ex-Twitter platform can fuck off. Everything he touches can fuck off. And we all need to say this as one. Anything that has any connection with Elon Musk needs to be shunned, needs to be thrown on the fucking bonfire, because this man is beyond any evil that we have known since the death of Hitler. And I'll say that now, because it's fucking true. Chris C says, Musk can't be doing this for money. He's not, Chris. Thank you very much for the super chat. He's not doing it for money. He's doing it for his sick kicks. He gets off on suffering, like the doctor in that episode of Black Mirror, who can only get his rocks off if someone, you know, is being bludgeoned to death. Or if he's bludgeoning someone to death or something. I don't know. It's a weird episode. But basically, you get the gist. The man is a fucking psychopath. He's an evil piece of shit. And all he's doing by... Dave W saying, don't hold back, Ray, tell us what you really think. All he's doing here is creating a target on his back. He is creating an entire generation of Luigis who will all have a personal vendetta against him. He will spend the rest of his miserable, godforsaken life looking over his shoulder. And one day, that's it. You know, he has made an enemy of humanity because I guess he's barely human himself. Sorry, am I going off on one, Ollie?
Yeah. I'm just gonna.
Ollie's a bit scared. Ollie's like, fucking hell, Graham. Jesus.
No. Yeah, bit hard on that.
Yes. But he is a drug addict. He is a ketamine addict. He is revolting. He's absolutely revolting. And, you know, when the day comes, when this debt is paid, I will have a fucking party. And you're all invited. So there you go. And MHK says, I think we have to look at the bigger picture. What is the main objective? There is too much at stake. The main objective is just killing people and making people suffer. That's what they want to do. And they're gonna make a lot of people suffer. Jess Pixie says, millions to Serbia for transsexual comic book, money funneled to the Clinton Foundation, millions for Serbia for DEI hires in Serbia. Are you fucking stupid, Jess? Like, you do know that as a woman, you would be classed as a DEI hire, although you're probably not a woman. You're probably just pretending to be. But tell you what, why don't you fuck off this channel and just fuck off in general, because I don't want to hear from you ever again. Bye. Right, she's gone.
Well, the thing is, you go back to like some of those stuff. Some of that stuff is like for cultural like power. People do realize that like a big part of USAid when you do stuff like
Soft power.
you fund again apparently this funded a musical like that in Ireland. I'm not sure how true that is or not, but if you do that, you don't do that for good. You do it for like a bit of cultural like domination, like because
Yes.
we do this.
Soft
Every
power.
Western country does this.
Soft
Like
power.
spreading your culture is good because
Yeah.
then it makes people want to come here. It makes people want to buy things from you. It sort of influences another country in a very sort of subtle way. But
Yeah.
like spreading your culture around with like this type of thing is pretty good. We in Britain have actually quite a good track record of this, thanks to BBC World Service. And if you've ever seen The Rest is Politics,
and the British Consul, which is everywhere.
yeah, yeah, like I say, we fund in Europe, we fund all kinds of like arts programs if it's by a
stuff.
yeah, because it's good
in
to
our
spread
interest.
your culture.
And there's something else, Ollie, that not many people have picked up on in the proper paid for media. USAid provides cover for a lot of espionage for the US to keep an eye on what's happening around the world, because you can't all be like import export
I wouldn't be
dealers.
surprised a lot of this does come under like security stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if every country is doing this in some way, shape, or form.
Every country does it. Every country does it. I mean, it's famously said that the ambassador of a country is basically a spy for that country. To go somewhere else and let them know the inside track of what's happening. And so there's so many dominoes that are going to fall now as a result of what Musk has done. And let's face it, let's face facts, he is unelected. No one voted for him. No one voted for Musk. He's running a department that's not been sanctioned by anyone. It's not a real department. It's a made-up department that Trump just made up. He's got rid of the department. He's getting rid of the Department of Education, but he's creating the Department of Government Efficiency, which is just out there to kill little kids. I hope that Jess Pixie woman's still watching this, and I hope that when she goes to bed tonight, she can vision children literally starving, a dead baby in its mother's arms because of you and the fuckers like you who vote for people like Trump, going, "No, I don't want my money going to poor people. Go, 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 go." I hope you can live with yourself. I hope you can get a good night's sleep. And I hope that, the nightmares, when they do come, they're not the type that drive you to insanity. Quick question from Roxy Rules. Quick question. I have an aftershave called Musk Plus Instinct. Should I stop using it? Yes. Absolutely, you should. Does Elon know that you do not fuck with badgers? Says one angry pagan. Well, no, you don't. Especially honey badgers. They're fucking crazy. MH Kara says, look like a revamped version of the Liz Truss cut loose. There will be no trickle down. Absolutely. I mean, Ollie, what do you think the reasoning is behind what he's doing? I'm just straight up going for the whole psychopath explanation.
It's just absolute sheer recklessness. I mean, you've got to think why. The whole reason behind this is because Trump's a businessman, Elon Musk is a businessman entrepreneur, so of course he knows how to run the government. So he's going to run the government like a business. What do you do when you run a government like a business? Well, you go in and you start cutting the waste, you start trimming the fat. That's effectively what he's done. And I wouldn't be surprised if Elon Musk, in doing this, has done potentially irreparable damage. And it wouldn't shock me if in like a couple of weeks' time, like something stops working because of his meddling, or we find out that there's been like this massive security breach because of Elon Musk.
We've already had 2 plane crashes. Do you think there's going to be more plane crashes?
3.
I do. I think there's going to be.
We've had 3 so far.
We've had 3.
Yeah.
When was the third one?
I don't know, but I know it's been reported that we've had 3 since the first one everyone started talking about, and the big, oh well, this is because of DEI. There have been 2 more since then, so we've had 3 since Trump has took office. I won't be surprised if there's more. Yes. Because
if your stupid little Twitter platform fucks up, no one dies. Do you know what I mean? But if the air traffic control people fuck up because there's only one person doing the job of 7, then, people fucking die. People fucking die. Paul says, well, he's bankrupt every business he had. Well, I mean, I at the moment, Tesla is a meme stock. Like, it's not related in any way, shape, or form to the performance of the selling of their cars. They don't sell as many cars as other manufacturers whose market cap is a lot less than what Tesla's is. It's all built on this fucking mad cult, like Jess Pixie and her friends. They will do anything that their godhead, that their supreme leader Trump or Elon Musk commands, which is fascinating when you think about how they would feel about a drug addict immigrant from another country who come over and try to, I don't know, control their family or something, how they would feel about it if that drug addict immigrant wasn't given the green light by Donald Trump. It's funny how they can turn their opinions about certain drug addict immigrants around depending on, who's given them the thumbs up.
But Anders Wolf brings up a very valid point here. When Musk took over Twitter, he started turning off random servers.
Yes.
Thinking, oh, I don't need this server. And Twitter stopped working.
Yeah.
So, he's pretty much applying the exact same thing now to the US government, to the US Treasury Department. Oh, and did you know that they lost the US census data?
What?
Oh, yeah. That got hidden amongst all this stuff that happened this weekend. They lost the US census data.
From what year? From all of it, or?
Yep. We lost the most recent one.
Fuck.
So, yeah. Honestly, you just cannot make some of this stuff up that's going on. But there's just so much coming out.
Yeah.
So much coming out of just the crazy, like, nonsensical stuff that's just going on in there it's insane.
Yeah.
It's just absolutely insane. But this is the most, powerful man in the world, in charge of one of the most powerful countries in the world. And unfortunately, what he says, people have to kind of pay attention to. It's it's crazy, and we're only 3 weeks in.
Yeah,
3 weeks into the Treasury. Look to the presidency. Look at what we've had so far.
Yeah. Got more of it.
Strap in and enjoy the rides.
We got a super chat coming from John C. Thank you so much, John. Watch Dark Gothic MAGA, How Tech Billionaires Plan to Destroy America on the Blonde Politics channel to see that Musk scum is the loudest of a dangerous cabal. Yeah, I you know what? But though he's decided to make himself the figurehead of this because he wants the adulation or something of sick fucks who think that it's acceptable to murder children. When I was a kid, I grew up seeing images of kids starving with flies on their faces and dying of disease in Ethiopia. And when I was a kid, what people did, because I guess the older generation at that time were the people who fought in the war. They had fought against Nazis. They'd actually proved themselves to be actual heroes, rather than the older generation now who haven't proved themselves to be anything but the most selfish, evil generate. I'm sorry, but evil. I know that's not everybody, and there are a lot of people watching this. 1 in 4 of our viewers is over the age of 65, so I don't mean you, and I don't mean my mum, but there is a lot of older people, not just in the US, but in the UK, and around the world, who have never proven themselves anything but cowards, and they absolutely love Trump and Musk and Farage and Brexit and all the shit that's going round and round. And there's, when I was a kid, the older generation were like, oh shit, kids are starving in Africa, let's do something about it. Now older people are like, kids are starving in Africa, I say let them die. I say make them die. And that's what we're getting. I mean, it's against the rules of Facebook to wish death on anyone. So surely if you're backing what Elon Musk is doing, you're technically wishing death on people because he is actually causing that to happen. Really? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, good. Yvonne is saying Musk will get what's coming to him soon. Well, yeah, I do think there's a very, very high chance of him either being Luigi'd, or I'd like him to go in the most humiliating way possible. I'd like him to go dressed as a woman, having an asphyxie wank, strangling himself on the back of a door handle. That's what I'd like.
But I just want him to go in one of his own Teslas. Really, I mean, that would be the ultimate irony. Yeah.
I would like it if his body wasn't discovered for 3 weeks because no one gave a fuck. That'd be great. I'll still have a party. But yeah, it's horrific. It's absolutely horrific what these motherfuckers are doing. But in their defense, it's what they said they were going to do. They
Yeah, because I
absolutely said they
know,
were
I know
gonna
you
do
did.
this.
I know you said we talked about it yesterday about the tariffs on Mexico and Canada. Did you
Yeah.
hear? Did you cover that they've now been paused yesterday?
Yes.
Right.
The news for that came through, I think, while we were talking about it.
Yeah. Well, bear in mind they've been paused. So in another end of February, beginning of March,
Yeah.
Mexico and Canada could have tariffs again.
Oh no, actually, no. We were talking about it last night, and that was when it had been suspended, I think, for Mexico, but it hadn't been suspended yet for Canada, I think.
Yep.
And then this morning, when it did me show that both of those had been suspended, but the ones for China were still going ahead.
Yep.
But
that's the only one that's so far gone ahead. So
Yeah.
China now has a blanket 10% tariff on all goods, sort of going into America.
Yeah.
China hasn't yet fully responded. They've said they've got sorting stuff out, but they seem to be pretty cautious how they are planning their response. Because this is a lot more serious than sort of last time, of course, Trump did this around. Last time the tariffs were a lot more targeted. They obviously have to be quite careful as well because China, after the pandemic, their economy is still not doing good. Obviously, if they decide to tariff stuff going to America, it's going to hurt their economy as well. So they're in a bit of a worse position than they were last time around. But they do seem to be going that they are going to be doing some sort of response. We just don't know what exactly it's going to be yet.
Yeah.
Also, have you seen the Canadian governors responding to this? A lot of the Canadian governors as well have started to tear up American contracts. You've had some say, right, well, no USAid companies can now apply for contracts in this state.
Yeah.
You've had a couple of governors tear up deals with Elon Musk. I can't remember which one it was. I think it was Quebec, I think, tore up their Starlink contract. You've had another couple, I think, states in Canada follow that through on that as well.
Yeah.
So that's been, pretty substantial. But we've got to talk about what I think, diplomatically this means. Just Trump has almost immediately burned through any political goodwill. Like it is in his first like 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Well,
at this point.
not with Republican scum though, because the Republicans.
Oh no, that he has done. I say I think over the weekend you had a lot of very worried, should we say, very rich donors from the Republicans phoning up, literally on the phone to him like, "Don, what are you doing? You're about to lose us a lot of money." I did a live stream on Sunday, talking about some of this stuff as well, and in Justin Trudeau's response, he was like, well, okay, we're going to do this straight away. But the next set of tariffs, we're going to wait 21 days because we need our companies to, change and make changes to where they're going to be getting the supplies from, where they're going to be getting their stuff from.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, of course, Trump was like, no, all these tariffs are going to go to head. It's going on this date.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just American companies just did not have the time, the capacity to be able to sort of implement those tariffs straight away. I maybe think this 30-day pause is that's what these companies have asked for. That if you are going to go through this, like you are going to go through these tariffs, the American companies now basically have 30 days to go and find different suppliers, different countries to buy from instead of Mexico and Canada.
Wow.
And I think it is very likely these tariffs are going to go back in. I know there's this big thing about, but we got these big wins from, Trump was trying to sort of say, but in reality, he basically got nothing.
Yeah.
There's already like 15,000 troops at the US Mexican border. The
Yes, I
deal,
know. That was the funny thing. They're like, "Oh yeah, we'll put 15,000 troops at the border." He's like, "Oh, brilliant."
yeah, they're
And it's
already there.
like they already agreed to do that 3 years ago, knobheads. And what the Canadians agreed to, the only thing that's new that they agreed to was they were going to set up a fentanyl czar. And I was like, oh
Yeah.
well, that's nice because obviously America's already got
Yeah.
a
And to
ketamine
do that, all Justin
So-
Trudeau has to go is literally point to someone and just go, "You are now the fentanyl czar." That's it.
Yes.
That's all they have to do.
Yeah.
Um,
It's an honorary
Trump
post.
has
You don't
won
have to do
nothing.
anything.
Trump has won nothing through this, and yet there's a
No.
lot of people
He
like
climbed
running
down.
around saying
He
he's
climbed down, but
celebrating
all
this.
of his media were like, "Oh, he's won. He won the first round of the trade battles, and he got fucking nothing." The companies that he wanted to promote, American companies, lost a load of money. He got nothing. Got no political capital out of it. Got nothing off Mexico and or Canada. Anything. He didn't get fucking anything. They just said, "Oh yeah, we'll do that thing."
Well, like I say,
that
we'll
we're
have to
already
play a
doing.
waiting game.
Do you reckon they
We'll
called
have to
each
play a
other
waiting game to
afterwards?
see if these tariffs do come back.
Yeah. Do you reckon? Do you reckon they called each other afterwards and they were like, I just told him that I could put 15,000 troops on the border, and he was like, "Oh yeah, that'll do."
Yeah. Oh, in other slightly good news as well. Possibly now no more war with Panama.
Oh really? Okay, tell me
Yes.
more because I've got a particular
Marco
interest in
Rubio
this.
went to Panama this weekend. He's of course Trump's foreign secretary. He went to visit Panama, talk about of course the Panama Canal.
Yes.
And essentially what it seems to be that they've agreed is that the ports, part of the Panama Canal, were run by companies in Hong Kong.
Yes.
So it seems that what they've agreed is that they are going to stop these contracts because Panama right now is going to court to try and get these contracts undone. And then they're probably going to give these contracts to run the ports probably to an American company or someone else, just anyone that isn't Chinese, essentially. So looks like no war with Panama. So we've averted the war with Panama.
Oh, that's good.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Chris C, thank you very much for the super chat. Trump got cold feet due to the markets tanking. Yeah, he got absolutely nothing out of it. And I mean, China's just like, yeah, whatever. China has responded to these 10% tariffs on top of the tariffs that have already been set by just sort of looking at it like Russia responded to the sanctions that were put on after the invasion of Ukraine. They just went, oh well, because they were prepared for it. They knew this was going to happen. They were like, yeah, they put things in place, i.e., factories that are Chinese are making produce and making merchandise, commodities, whatever, iPhones in places like Vietnam and Cambodia and Thailand and stuff like that nearby. The Chinese run, Chinese owned, but technically it's not made in China, so they don't get the tariff. They can get around it. And there's other things where they bring the stuff into Mexico first, and then they do the final processing in Mexico. The final
just-in-time delivery systems.
Yeah. Yeah.
And these just-in-time delivery systems have actually expanded. Like because they do this now, this back and forth between all the all three different countries, it's actually expanded the American auto industry, not decreased it.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's yet another bizarre lie that Trump's telling, that American auto industries are like declining. No, they've because they've taken on these just-in-time delivery systems, they've actually increased.
Yes, yeah. Well, everything he says is a fucking lie. Or stupid. It's either stupid or a lie. One of the two. So if he declares that he's going to do something, it's usually something stupid that he's going to do. That's pretty fucking self-defeating. But the fact is that he's the 47th president, and he must really have a beef with the 45th president, because it was the 45th president. I've forgotten his name now. Some fat orange disgusting blob. I forgot his name. But he was the one who actually put together the trade deal with Canada. And
Trump did
Mexico.
say whoever signed it got the worst deal in US history.
Got the worst deal in US history. I can't remember who was the president in 2019 when it was signed. Was it wasn't Biden, wasn't he? He wasn't elected yet. It
No.
wasn't Obama. I'm sure he was orange. He looked
Who
like a
was
plumper
who was in
lumper
between
on
Obama,
steroids.
Obama and Biden? I can't
Oh, I
remember.
don't know. Some terrible bastard.
So
He was
difficult.
it's fucking shit. Do you know what this reminds me of? Frosty the Snowman, David Frost in the UK, complaining about the Brexit deal that he fucking well negotiated. And I'm like, mate, what?
Yeah.
What? Yeah.
Other news as well, because
Go on.
Trump's done something else with Ukraine, which actually is quite good. But this is yet again another thing that was already going to happen that
Right.
Trump's now celebrating as a win.
He did it. Yeah, he did it.
So, what if you don't know what's happening? Previously, before, Ukraine is quite a mineral rich country. It's part of the reason why Russia would quite like it back.
Back?
They've
What?
actually said, well,
quite like it back. What?
yes, quite. That's why Russia would quite like Ukraine back.
But they never had Ukraine. It was part of the
well,
USSR.
when it was part of the USSR.
So we'll say Moscow. Moscow wants
Moscow,
it back.
yeah. That's why. Well, that's why Putin would want it back, shall we say? One of the big things that was said, and Zelensky's constantly been saying for years. Look, we have all this untapped industry. We have all this untapped resources, in our country. We are quite fine for the West to come in and start developing these industries, because it would mean really, really good stuff for Ukraine. It would make them a lot of money to do that. It would also mean Western countries as well would sort of gain more access to these, especially in Europe, especially if you want to build up your defense industry, as Starmer has been talking about with Macron and some other EU leaders very recently. We'll get into that in a moment as well. But yeah, they have been sort of very open to this idea for quite a long time. And now, Trump comes along and goes, oh, well, if Ukraine's going to give us access to all these resources, then, oh, well, absolutely, we've now got to support them. And it just comes back to what I was saying, last week. It's he's going to end up following the Biden policy. Exactly.
Yes.
Support Ukraine. I mean, we know apparently, again, he wasn't very coy about it when he first came in, that apparently him and sort of Putin are, quote, talking. What they're talking about, we don't know, but
nothing good.
We'll see. But the fact that you've got this deal now for Ukraine, I think it's probably going to be at least a bit more transactional for Trump, because Trump's now going to be looking at Putin going, okay, what can you now offer me to end this war? And Putin hasn't got a lot of anything really to offer at this point. So
well, a cuddle, maybe.
A cuddle, and that's it. So yeah, in a way, good news for Ukraine, because I was very, very worried and concerned about obviously what would happen to Ukraine under a second Trump term. Some of that has been alleviated. With some of the stuff that Trump has been saying, because it's almost exactly, word for word. Well, not exactly word for word, what Biden was saying, but it's very similar to what Biden had been saying all along. So it does look like he's going to end up going down the Biden route and helping fund Ukraine.
Yeah.
So, but of course, here's a problem where Elon Musk could, of course, get involved and basically say no money to Ukraine. I wouldn't be surprised if that's a scandal, or that ends up happening maybe in a couple of weeks as well. Because, he hasn't been very, very forthcoming in the past before about cutting off Starlink to Ukrainian forces. In fact, we talked about this. He cut off, the Ukrainians were planning an assault on Crimea. He turned off Starlink to prevent that. Ukrainians have lost Starlink just randomly. Which has prevented medivacs, supplies, communications,
caused people to die.
So, Musk is not the biggest friend when it comes to Ukraine.
He likes having the power over life and death, because the guy is an out-and-out psychopath, and he should face the consequences of his actions. And I think that he will, one way or another. Might take a while, but he is going to piss off the wrong person at some point. If you put your head that far above the parapet and you make an enemy, a lifelong enemy. And this is something that I say about Trump as well. If you create thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people with nothing left to lose in a country where there are more guns than people, you're a fucking idiot. You know, more people are gonna, more people are gonna suffer under them. More people are gonna lose their family members. More people are gonna lose their children. More people are gonna, be diagnosed with terminal cancer, because by the time that they discover what it is, because of the way that the health service is going to go. I mean, it's already fucking shit in America for outcomes. The most expensive health system in the world, and also the one with the shittest outcomes. You're going to have someone who's got terminal cancer who's like, fuck this shit, I'm going to die anyway. I might as well go out in a blaze of glory. And, there's a line in the TV show Narcos where the copper says, or the DEA agent says to like the drug dealer, we only have to get lucky once. You only have to get unlucky once. Do you know what I mean? That's the difference. You have to stay lucky all the time to stay one step ahead of the DEA and, the people coming over to get them. And it's a really good point. They only have to get one lucky break, one time when, you're alone in a room with Musk and you're packing heat. Surely he must have thought of this. Surely there must be some cog going around in his stupid fucking head that goes, hang on, I'm making all these enemies, and I'm because there's going to be Americans who have got family in Sudan or family in the DRC or family in Afghanistan who will have a direct relation to that, who dies because of Musk's actions. You want to create people with vendettas. He's going the right way.
I mean, we are heading, because of all these actions that Trump and Musk have done in the past couple of days. We are probably going to see like a massive scandal come out of this in some way, shape, or form. It's absolutely inevitable, to be honest.
Inevitable. Yeah,
but
I think that's
it's
true.
Just when and what is Musk going to do? Yeah. And like I say, remember when he took over Twitter? He turned off servers, thinking, "Oh, we don't need those."
Yeah.
Twitter stopped working. He, fired the people from security, and guess what? They couldn't use their cards to swipe in.
Yeah.
They couldn't even get into the office because he'd fired the security people on the team.
Yeah.
Had to rehire them and then fire them again once they sorted that issue. So remember how well all that went down.
Yep. And also,
and just think Trump, Musk is doing that now to critical areas of the US government, fooling around with God knows what, taking God knows what information out with him, and doing who knows what as well. I mean, I think what's going to get him is, I think we're going to find out there's a massive security breach, and I think it's going to be directly linked to Elon Musk and what he's doing.
Yes, of course.
I think that's what's going to happen.
The info to the highest bidder. But
I don't think he's going to sell it to the highest bidder. I think he's going to be an idiot, and one of those hard drives that apparently is slapped in to one of these officers is going to be full of malware and spyware.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily have to be a government that does it, like China or Russia or Iran. It can just be a hacker group like Anonymous who does it. But
yeah,
none of this stuff looks good. It is going to end up, I think, in a massive scandal, and I think it's going to be a massive security breach.
Do you think it's going to be enough to actually topple him though? Because he's got the man who
maybe not
all of
Trump,
the January the 6th rioters,
But I can't see Republicans sticking by Elon, because Elon Musk, if you remember before all this with that government shutdown, Elon lost a lot of cred with Republicans. There are a lot of Republicans that really hate Elon Musk now because of what he did, shutting down the government just before they took over. And I think if they saw that, I don't think a lot of Republicans would be like, nah, we're not going to go for bat for you on this one, Elon. It's just too big. We're not going to do it.
When we talk about Twitter and like him taking it over, so Twitter is worth less than half. No, less than it's less than that. It's worth now something like about between 15 and 20% of what Elon Musk paid for it. It's worth less than 10 billion now, according to the latest figures that I saw. But this was a platform that he took over. And I keep making this point because it just, in a way, it horrifies me, but in another way, it just typifies just how shit these people are. The very first telephone phone in, right, on the radio was over 100 years ago. It was in like 1922 on the BBC, where someone called in from a phone and they spoke to the presenter on the radio. And 100 years later, with everything that's happened in the last 100 years, the Second World War, the nuclear bomb, the going to space, landing on the moon, Concorde, the internet, AI, everything. The richest man in the world can't even broadcast a fucking phone call with Donald Trump on his own platform that he owns because he's got rid of all the people who actually know how things work. Just mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing. Apparently, I've stolen someone's movie pitch. Sorry, Ian. Didn't mean to do that. I don't know which pitch it was. MZ says, deals on the table. Ukraine has valuable deposits of rare earth materials, critical minerals to make digital tech work for development of defense, energy tools, and everything. Hi, all. Hi, Em. And we got some questions from Jane, I think, asking why Jane doesn't get a rose. It will only allow me to give roses to people who are members of this channel. So if you join the channel, you'll get a rose. Whereas you're a patron and your name appears at the end of the show. But I think that YouTube are trying to pull people away from Patreon and trying to get them to become members on this channel as well. Instead, because they get to take a bigger cut, I guess. Bastards. But there you go. Remember, Musk might be the richest man in history, but he has also lost more money in history. It can all go away, says Ernie Burns. Well, I hope so.
It's only going to take the Tesla stock tanking. It's only going to take the Tesla stock tanking, and Elon Musk is suddenly very, very poor.
Is he though? Because he's got stock in SpaceX, and there's sponsored by
SpaceX relies on Tesla stock.
Does it?
Yeah,
I thought it just
all of Elon Musk's wealth relies on the Tesla stock.
All right, okay.
Like, it all relies on that Tesla stock, and of course, he does get subsidies from the US government for SpaceX, but how long those will last as well is debatable.
Yeah. Jane's asking, how do I get membership on here then? There should be a join button. So there's like a subscribe button, and there's usually a join button. But it depends if you're... I don't because I haven't had a problem trying to get the join button.
There's a little... If you go underneath the video, underneath the title, right next to the name of the channel, there'll be a join and subscribed button. The join button is what you want to click for the YouTube membership.
But it's different on different platforms. It's different on different phones, and it's different on a laptop.
Right, yeah.
It's different on a tablet, and sometimes the join button doesn't appear because I don't know why. If you have not set up your Google account in a certain way, then because obviously your YouTube account is connected to your Google account, and your head bone's connected to your neck bone, and your neck bone. Sorry, but yes, One Angry Pagan saying Ragnarok has come. Are they a heavy metal band? And says Starlink, huge government contracts. Well, yeah. I don't think SpaceX and Starlink are going to be too bothered because they can just take the money that they've stolen from USAid or from, I don't know, shutting down the nation's bank account, which is what Elon Musk did last week. I mean, that's just phenomenal. That is just like, did that really happen? Did that actually really happen? He went and shut down all government funding for everything. That included like senators' wages. It included the army getting paid. It included veterans getting paid. Just Ernie Burns says Tesla and crypto. So that's a very stable investment. Yeah. Well, it all went away for Sam Bankman-Fried, didn't it? It all went away for Elizabeth Holmes. And they're in jail now. If Tesla goes, because everyone has been saying for a very long time that Tesla stock is massively overpriced. So it could all go. But it's just what will cause it, what will happen to it. But who knows? But I think Elon Musk getting involved in like a massive government scandal, he ain't going to be able to survive that. He ain't going to be able to survive that. That's for sure. Tim Ballon is just dropped a £10 super chat in. Thank you very much, sir. That's very kind of you. What happens to a Tesla is you open the charger port with a replay attack and it rains. Asking for a friend. Laugh, laugh, laugh. I don't really understand what that means. A replay attack? What is that? Is that a thing? Is that a setting on your Tesla?
Possibly.
All car companies make electric models now. Don't get a Tesla. Just do not get a Tesla. Because you drive a Tesla, you're riding with Hitler.
Or, Teslas have a very, very poor track record as well for safety. So, there's that as well. Even more for not doing it.
Do you think that this lot in charge of America at the moment, do you think they're worse than the Nazis?
No.
Do you think the Nazis were worse?
Yeah.
Because I don't think they were. Because he's only been in charge for 2 weeks. And he's already set up concentration camps. That took the Nazis at least 9 years to get to that point.
No, I still don't think the worst is the Nazis at the moment. They've got a lot more stuff to do.
Well, I think they're worse than the Nazis were 2 weeks into the Nazi administration under Hitler. After Hindenburg made him chancellor for some stupid reason, and then he declared himself Führer. I think that and also you look back in history and the fact that the liberal elites of the Weimar Republic essentially coronated Hitler. And they've done the same thing over in America. They've gone, yeah, sure, criminal man. You can run for president again. You can pardon 1,500 rioters who attacked our parliament building. That's fine. These terrorists who led to the deaths of 9 people, including a couple of police officers, and injured 150 police officers and caused £3 million worth of damage, or $3 million in old money. I mean, yeah. I really do feel like the liberal establishment really let everybody down there, letting that happen. They should have just taken him out to the desert, made him dig a hole, made him jump in the hole, and left him in the hole. That's what they should have done. Made it look like an accident, a hole digging accident.
Oh, I'll tell you what. Do you want a weird story to hear as well?
Go on.
Well, guess what? For people who love Eurovision,
yeah.
People may not know that there was actually a rival for Eurovision for quite a long time.
Yes.
And this was, of course, in the Soviet Union. So the Soviet Union used to have I think it was like the people's singing competition or something like that. It used to be called. Because obviously Russia got the boot from Eurovision, Putin is now reviving this.
Yeah.
He is now reviving this alternative to the Eurovision Song Competition. And it is going to be
awful,
based on all these, Russian countries, and of course all these Soviet states are going to get invited to it.
So is it going to be the different oblasts of Russia plus Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan,
and Poland, and the Baltic states, and Finland.
What, Poland's going to get involved?
Oh yes, they're going to get the invite because remember, like all these Warsaw Pact countries as well. They were part of it, so they're going to get an invite as well. So you might see Hungary. Orban is a bit of a Putin kiss ass. You might see Putin.
Jesus.
Well, you might see Hungary sort of perform like at this contest when it happens.
Yeah. We've got a MH Carer. Thank you very much for the super chat. Graham, Ollie, what would you do with the data that Musk has assessed?
What would I do with the data that Musk has accessed? Basically, right now, Elon Musk has a full record of any of his competitors, what they get paid, how they get paid, what the government contracts are, and that to in the business world is a lot of information, because all of a sudden, your competitor might be getting paid more than you for providing a similar service. So you could turn around and say, hang on, US government, my company can provide that at a lower cost. And that's all of a sudden where Elon Musk might start using that data. That's what he's going to start doing with it.
Yeah, yeah. What would you do with it though?
Like I say, I would use that data. I would go around to all the businessmen I could and basically start going, hey, look, I have this data of the
Yeah.
US, government, all this information on your competitors. Do you want it? And it would just be, I would probably make a quite pretty penny if I had access to that data.
Oh, I'll give it back. Mm.
I'm not a patriot to America. I'd
um,
I'd, I'd make my money and then blame it all on Donald Trump or Elon Musk.
um, Dave W saying Poland has a TV dancing competition. It's called Gdansking with the Stars.
No.
See what we've done there? And then for some Stuck as saying during the Nazi regime, it was called Danzig with the Stars because it used to be called Danzig before Gdansk. Very good, very good. You should Futum Stunk and Jane Lockwood should become a double act. Sorry, not Jane. Dave W, and Futum Stuck. But yeah, I just find this entire episode of the last 2 weeks. He's only been president for 2 weeks. Sickening, but also not surprising because I did take Trump seriously when he said he was going to do this mad shit, and I found it annoying that people in the Democrat Party were all like, "Oh, we won't really do this stuff." People in the Republican Party were also like, "Oh, you know what Trump's like? He won't really do this stuff," and he's actually doing this stuff. It's sad. It's really, really sad. Paul wants to know if anyone's seen the Madonna, the fallen Madonna with the big boobies. No. And Christopher says, but Elon Musk knows that Boeing get paid at least triple what SpaceX get. Most of the Tesla subsidies are state level. I don't know. I don't know how the subsidies work for Teslas over in America. I've never bought one in America, but I assume that it's one of these things that Trump has worked out with the people who are elected to look
Yeah.
after the
Like I
country.
say, that's a lot of information he has access to. A lot of
Yeah,
information.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and also he's basically threatened. Apparently, if you are on Twitter and you are go to an anti-Trump demonstration, you'll now be booted off Twitter.
Yes.
So much for freedom of speech
Freedom of
on Twitter.
speech, as long as it's a speech that I appreciate, the speech I like. I've been booted off Twitter. My Twitter account is now locked because I said I hope that Elon Musk goes on a diet. I might have missed the T off the end of the word diet, but yeah, I'm booted off it now, so I don't care. There's a part of me that's sad. Like when I lost my MySpace account, I was kind of sad having to start again on another, platform. But at the end of the day, like nothing lasts forever. Not even the Trump regime. Anthony Fisher, thank you very much for the £5 super chat, my friend. That is very kind of you. Trump has just withdrawn from the UN Human Rights Council and says Iran is too close to having nuclear weapons. Just seen on Sky News. So it's no surprise that he's pulled out the Human Rights Council because Trump isn't a human and he doesn't believe that humans should have rights. He's a monster. And like all billionaires, tyrants, scumbags around the world, he thinks that, only rich people should have nice things and everyone else should live in shit. Because that's the way that the capitalist mindset goes once you get beyond a certain point. See J.K. Rowling for details. Tim Ballon, thank you very much for the £20 super chat. That's very kind of you, Tim. Thank you. Before the first invasion of Ukraine, Moscow issued thousands of passports to Ukrainian nationals in vital sectors as they want to control. As they could freely execute anyone with a Russian passport who didn't collaborate. Wow. That is crazy. That is crazy.
Well, like I say, if you don't accept one of those passports, you can lose your property. You don't have any rights. So it's I feel very sorry for a lot of Ukrainians behind the lines who don't want to be Russians because they've got no choice, unfortunately. But
yeah,
I can't blame them if they do take one because otherwise, you lose everything.
yeah, yeah. Leapshin wants to know why the hell does the richest man in the world require subsidies? Well, you think about the big companies that get subsidies from our government. I mean, you're talking about the oil companies and the arms industry. If you sell arms to another country, you sell a few tanks to Jordan, for instance, and you sell them 10 tanks that have been made in this country, and they only pay for 8 of them. Do you know who pays for the other 2? Is it A, insurance? Is it B, no, the company that made the tanks has to absorb the hit? Or is it C, the taxpayer? Ollie.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were actually getting to the chat, so I was waiting to see what they would say.
I was asking you.
I see the taxpayer.
It is the taxpayer. And it's the only manufacturing industry in the UK that is covered by an insurance policy by the government, which says that, if a country that you're selling arms to reneges on a deal, or and you've made it, we will step in and pay for it. Which if you think about Camel Lords and the shipbuilding industry in Liverpool and Glasgow and stuff, the government won't step in to help them. Camel Lords went under a few years ago. They're back now, but they went under because a Italian cruise ship company ordered the middle section of a cruise ship, and they built the bloody thing, and then they said, "Oh, actually, no, we changed our mind. We don't need it." They were going to cut the whole ship in half and add this extra section and then put it back together again, which is kind of cool in a way, but also, Jesus. Hello, welcome to our new subscribers. Richard Grumpy Git, thank you very much, has gifted 5 Politics Social memberships. To David Juado, who is now a member. We've also got MZ is now a member. Super Tiny 808 is now a member. And Steve P is also now a member. So and Jen as well is also a member. So welcome new members. You're all awesome. Did I press the right button then? Welcome new members. David's excited now because he's now got a pink rose. Well done. So yes, Disenfranchised Chrissy Farage has been campaigning to leave the European Court Convention of Human Rights. Let's hope it's not a hard leave, no replacement. Yeah. Well, it's European Court or the convention, isn't it? Depending on what context you're using it in. But the ECHR wanting to leave that, these billionaires, these rich people, these rich motherfuckers, they just don't want anyone else to have nice stuff. That's it. Is there any pudding, as Rachel would say? Is there anything nice?
Any pudding?
Yeah, is there any pudding for us? Any Yorkshire pudding?
Oh, the Chagos Islands deal's back on.
Oh, good. Okay.
By the sounds of it, so that's good at least.
Because Trump derailed that or something, didn't he? Didn't Trump derail this on the Chagos Islands?
Thanks to Nigel Farage, apparently. Which is fantastic. So yeah, apparently the Chagos Island deal is going to go through. The Tories are absolutely spitting feathers at it because it's going to now cost more, thanks to, of course, Trump's meddling and Nigel Farage's meddling. And if I were Keir Starmer, I would be making a direct play to saying, "Oh, Tories, you're angry because it's now costing so much. Well, see that guy there sitting there? That's who you're going to blame."
Yeah. Fantastic. Snowy Cat says, "Hi, Graham." Hi, Snowy Cat. How you doing? So listen, we're going to have to wrap it up there, I think, because it's just past 1:30 and I've got to put the little one to bed. So, thanks very much, Ollie, for coming on and putting up with me having a rant about things. You can tell I'm a bit pissed off about all this, can't you? Or am I keeping it really cool? Am I keeping me emotions in check?
Well, like I say, next time like something like this happens, we'll have to do a Geoscope stateside crossover.
Yeah. We'll have a 2-hour special.
It would be good to sort of have a talk with Mikey can cover it from the American angle, what's going on there, and I can cover it, help from foreign policy wise, what's actually going on in the rest. Well, how does it actually affect Canada and so forth? But that's another thing as well to mention. Canadians apparently now also potentially starting to boycott American products. Yes. Whether that will take off or not, I'm not too sure.
I think we should all boycott America for the next 4 years, to be honest with you.
That will happen.
Yeah, until they get their act together. Number 3, before we go, thank you, Richard, for the £5 super chat. Woo! Ukraine, $3,000 a shell. $250,000 for Storm Shadow, $500,000 for Backtard Drone. So there you go. Yes, but £5 will do me for now. Thank you. So thank you very much to Ollie for giving us his wisdom on the show tonight. Thank you for watching. Thanks to everyone who joined in the chat. Thanks to all our members and our new members. Thanks to everyone who dropped a super chat in. You're very kind. And I'll say give us a like on the way out. I'll be back at 9 o'clock in the morning for Morning Brew. And until then, I'll say hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.
Bye.